Alright, hello everybody, Interjection here. Today we do have a video from H2O and myself. It's a H2O Explains, but before we get into that, I would like to talk about this channel just for a little bit, AoE3 live streams, because I think there is some confusion surrounding what this channel is and where these videos are coming from, because people are leaving comments on the videos saying stuff like, "Ah, you should have built this market sooner, or made this trading post more quickly, or done some raiding with the cav faster." Right? And there are other people saying, "Hey, these videos are really low quality. Let me teach you how to upload in 1080p and encode a really nice bitrate and make the videos look much better." Right? And it's people just being friendly. That's fine. That's good. I like friendliness. But they are a bit misguided in the sense that they think I am the person streaming and playing. I think a lot of people think I am playing in all of these matches, right? Which is not the case. I am not the player in these recent matches over the last 2 weeks since we have been doing daily videos. But I am, me, Interjection, I am responsible for uploading all of these games, right? I make all the titles and the thumbnails and the descriptions and everything about it. I am in charge of that. Nobody else is doing that. So where are these games coming from? I don't want to sound condescending, but I did make a video about this, rebranding this channel, and also one on my main channel. And the reason there is still some confusion, it also makes me think perhaps that there is not as much crossover between the AoE3 live streams channel and the Interjection channel. I used to think everybody subscribed to this channel would be also subscribed to this channel by default. Maybe that's not the case. So I will here go over this and explain it here. I think this is a good thing to do, just in case somebody missed those videos. So I think it's best to start with the question, why do people stream? I think there's a common theme across some of the videos saying, or asking, why do people stream? Why don't they just upload the video to YouTube? That's, I can't tune into their stream. It's at a time that's awkward, or, I'm at work, I'm busy, I can't watch their stream, but the YouTube video is there forever, and I can watch that at my own leisure when I'm not busy, right? People have been saying, why do people stream? And again, I don't want to sound condescending, but let's have a chat about that. So the reason people stream, people like Azamk, Gaia, H2O, Conqueror, Wicked Cossack, whoever it is that's on this channel, right? They like to stream because it's fun. It's really fun to stream. All you do is you press start streaming, you press the button, and then your computer screen is on the internet for people to tune into, and then they type in the chat box, and you can see their comment, and you can reply on the stream, and it's really fun to watch, and it's really fun to stream. But YouTube is a lot less streamlined. It's less about playing the game you love, and more about editing a video, and uploading the video, and making a thumbnail, and dealing with the interface. It's just not as fun, and I think, all the people I mentioned, H2O, Conqueror, Gaia, all of these people, right, they don't have that much interest really in making YouTube videos in the same way that I do on my Interjection channel, and if they did, they'd probably upload those videos to their own personal channels anyway, right? So what this channel is about is taking their streams, because they are, a lot of them, very, very good players, and they play some really, really great games, but they, as I mentioned, don't really want to put them on YouTube. So why not? Why not I just do it, right? Like, I download their stream, big 4-hour thing that nobody wants to watch, that Twitch is going to delete anyway in a month, cut it up into all the games played, and then what I do is watch all of the games once I've cut them up. I then write a short description about each game into a spreadsheet saying what was good or what was not good, or if the game was interesting or not interesting. And then every time it's time to release a video, I then look through my spreadsheet and go, this game would be good, we haven't seen this matchup in a while, or whatever it is. I decide that a video is, it's time for this one to be published. And I look through my spreadsheet to help me decide. And then once I've decided, I then go and edit the video. I then render it. I then upload it. I then make a thumbnail for it. I then post about it on social media and deal with the YouTube interface for publishing and all of those things, right? So I'm doing that effectively for other people because I feel like these games, a lot of them are really great to watch, and there's clearly a lot of interest in it. The videos are getting really good views, but it is tedious to do all of that. So I guess that's kind of what I'm doing. Think of me as the editor. I'm not the person playing the games. I'm the person sort of creating these videos, or really editing other videos that people have created. So that's what this channel is all about, and hopefully that does clear up some of the confusion. Now, let's get into the main video. H2O Explains. Now, before we do that, I have another message. So, the reason I put this really long kind of intro into this video is because this video, this particular H2O Explains, is one that's already on my Interjection channel, right? And before you go away and click away and think, what the hell, Interjection, what are you doing? Okay, so it's this one, H2O Explains number 4. And the reason I'm re-uploading it is because this game was game number 1 in a series between ACERGAME09 and H2O. And me and H2O recorded this about a year ago, after we played the games, and we uploaded this first one, but we then never uploaded game number 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? So we still have all of those games, never released anywhere on the internet ever, but we have them. And it's been so long that I just don't think it's worth putting them on the Interjection channel. I think they would make much better content for the AOE3 live streams channel, but the whole series wouldn't really make any sense unless I uploaded them, you know, unless I need to upload game number 1. So I'm going to upload it here as well as my Interjection channel, and I might delete it from my Interjection channel afterwards. And then we'll, you know, get on with it. All of the other H2O Explains, and I think H2O Explains will continue to stay on the Interjection channel, but for that particular series that for some reason we never got around to uploading, I'm going to put it here. But, yeah, thank you very much for listening, and enjoy the H2O Explains if you haven't seen it. If you have, don't worry, the next one you will not have seen. See you later. Alright, hello everybody, and welcome back to H2O Explains. For those of you that have subscribed more recently, you might not know what this is, and this is effectively a short mini-series that H2O and I did a while back, actually, during the Spring Championships. It was where, lo and behold, H2O explains. What is he explaining? Well, his tournament play, his thoughts and strategy and everything going through his mind at the time. And the games that we did upload were him versus Koenig Eric, and that was for the round of 8 of the Spring Tournament that I mentioned. Here we're watching some games from the Winter Tournament more recently. These are from the round of 16, H2O versus ACERGAME. So, going to do the same again. H2O is going to tell us what he's thinking, and hopefully it should be a lot of fun and provide some insights. And these videos had quite a lot of positive feedback last time, so let us know what you're thinking, and maybe we can do some more for H2O versus Maito, which I believe is coming up for the round of 8. Here we go, treasure contention, 90 wood, who's going to grab it?
And the answer is me. Luckily, I was able to get this one. Interesting thing right out the gate, actually, on Tibet. The most important thing about Tibet is the way that you scout it. So there's 2 treasures here. We talk about this a lot, actually, as a sidebar. We do talk about this a lot. I know that we do, but I think it's important to mention. We're on a new map now, so I will walk through it. There's 2 treasures that spawn in this area. 90 wood, 80 coin this time. And then at the top, there's also 2 treasures, 85 wood and 80 food. All the other treasures around the outer ring, I call them the inner and outer ring, by the way. So all the treasures in the outer ring tend to be smaller ones. You see there's like 35 coin, etc. But in China mirrors in particular, you really want to get these wood treasures, because what they do is they allow you to build your second house without having to chop any wood. So both ACERGAME and myself have kind of recognized this. And if you look at the scouting patterns, we fanned both our Explorer and Disciple out in different directions, just trying to find all these level 2 treasures right out the gate. So I found these, and ACERGAME also found the exact same set. You'll notice we both have basically the exact same portions of the map scouted. And obviously, since he's doing the same thing, it turned into a treasure contention. And this really speaks to how well prepared both ACERGAME and myself were for this game. I'm going to unpause it, but we both really knew where the treasures were on the map, and you'll see that's kind of how the follow-up proceeds too. We both know that this 85 wood's up here, so we're both going to send our Explorers straight up there.
Yeah. I really love how you've both brought this down to an absolute T. This is a brand new Gaia map, so to speak. Well, it's not so brand new anymore, but it's still brand new to me. And you've identified exactly where things spawn and the exact scouting optimal patterns to go for in the early game. I think that's actually really quite cool, and obviously it pays off. There's those 4 big treasures. You grab the wood and it's China, that's definitely pretty good. Looks like you're going for another wood treasure. Pretty nice.
Yeah, and so I know there's 85 wood up here, and I know he knows it for sure. Like, there's no way he would run exactly that direction without knowing it. So what I did, I started this treasure knowing that if he starts it, I can easily make it over there, even with his Disciple there. And so you'll notice he starts the treasure. I can put view lock on. This is my view lock. You see, I was actually looking at it, and when I saw that he started the treasure, I instantly pulled off, and I'm like, okay, my Disciple will finish this off for me while it's stunned. And I'm keeping view lock on this entire time just so you can see what I'm watching as I do this. So I stand right here at the perfect spot and just try to pick it up. I was there in time, did everything right, but I just didn't win the exchange. He was that little bit faster than I am.
Yeah.
And so now I'm just going to come back and pick up my consolation 40 wood, right? I mean, had I gotten that 85 wood, it would have been really game-changing. Important to point out, he was probably gambling on it, and you'll see he had no extra wood chopped, right? So he would have had to delay his shipment and to chop that extra wood, and it would have been a disaster for him. It could have added an extra villager to his age-up time potentially.
Yeah, now that you mention it, he is actually, was very, very invested in that. He has no extra wood, as you pointed out there, was really banking on picking up that treasure. And, had he not got that village wouldn't have gone down nearly as quickly, and he would have to delay the northern refugees, which in turn just slows everything down so you don't get those extra villages. So, yeah, really unlucky that, really lucky that he did manage to pick that up there. Yeah, you would have been really quite far ahead with 2 massive wood treasures and that 40 wood treasure as well, but,
Yeah, and at this point I was kind of sad. I knew that food was up there, but just not playing I wasn't playing my best game today in this particular game, and so I wasn't there in time to get the 80 food. And at this point now I'm just kind of looking for cows, right? You'll notice most of my focus is on my explorers. And although you could be kind of staring at your base or doing other things, when I'm kind of cycling back and forth between these two, I'm kind of like processing the map and thinking a bit almost. I don't know how better to explain it, but during this time I'm really looking for cows, but also trying to think, how the map's laid out and how am I going to play to the map the way it is right now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of Age 1 is really a game of kind of reading your opponent's mind. Where are they going to be? What treasures are they going to go for as well?
Yeah, there's this notion that you always talk about when casting a game. I've noticed when I cast with you, you'll always talk about who wins Age 1, and that's always something that you value quite a lot, even though Age 1 really isn't something that really you can win. But I feel as if, when it comes to these very high-level matches, there is something there that can be won. There is a player that definitely comes out on top, and I like that notion that you always value who wins Age 1. I like that about you.
Yeah, and I think it's a much better attitude to have about the game. I think for a long time, a lot of people have been kind of negative about Age 1. Before I continue with that, though, just pause to point out a big error I have here. Had a couple of idle villagers just standing here, and that was because the way these hunts died, they had nowhere to get on them. I was very fortunate actually that they didn't just decide to shoot this guy away. Right, I think this one I almost did it.
The idea of that I find amusing.
Yeah, it would have been really brutal had that happened. But so I'm dropping my wonder here, and luckily I was able to catch it, keep my hunts to my base. But yeah, that was a big blunder on my part. I lost a lot of resources there by not having those guys working for me. But yeah, winning Age 1 is really big. I mean, for the longest time, people were saying that Age 1 is just all luck. Where you can't, treasures are all luck. You get 140 food. It's not fair. Blah blah blah. But the entire time, I was always like, okay, well, I'm going to find out where the treasures spawn and just pick them up and win Age 1. I win a lot of games in Age 1. Like I get leads that are so big that I personally, don't feel I should ever throw them away. Yeah. But this game turned out very even. And I'm aging up, and so I guess we'll hop over to my build order now. Aging up with the porcelain tower. I was trying to metagame his build because I knew he would do a porcelain tower age up and go for petards.
Wow, that's a lot of villages on that one.
Yeah, but I didn't realize he was going to put that many on. So he aged up at 4:30, which is a really fast time compared to what I'm going to age up at, which is like 6 minutes probably, or I guess 5:30 probably. I actually even tossed a Vill on the Wonder. I was like, well, I'm actually more behind than I thought, so I'm going to toss a Vill on the Wonder. Normally I just go with no Vills on it. The idea being I can skip 700 gold if I do that. And not to really get into builders too much, but I think that if you skip 700 gold, you can send 300 export and kind of age at the same time. That's the plan.
You've gathered a load of coin. You're well above that 700 coin threshold. You'd have way more than enough coin to age up if you did send that. So you're planning to skip 700 coin?
Mm-hmm. And this is a build actually. So I have another little thing into my mind. I do a lot of practice games with Mito, for example. And so Mito came up with this idea of skipping 700 gold. And so we tested it both ways quite a bit to see which one was better. And it turns out you're just ahead by 300 export if you don't send the 700 gold. So
because you're sending that instead, I presume.
and it doesn't delay your age up unless you're going for what ACERGAME is doing, which is to put 6 bills on the Wonder to H2, eat all your cows, and then instantly drop a Wonder, right? So he was so fast compared to what we were expecting. You know, the normal China age up time is like, what is it, like 7:30, 7:45?
Yeah, about that.
And he ages at 7 minutes, so he's 45 seconds ahead of the curve. And
Right?
my plan was to be like maybe 10 seconds behind the curve, or dead on the curve. So that wasn't going to cut it against that fast of a build. But you see, the other thing I'm doing here, which is very nuanced, I'm pulling cows off the line, but I'm putting them right next to the gold mine, right? So the bills don't have to walk at all. They gather by just simply rotating. So this saves me villager seconds, right? I could have popped them in the TC, sent them over here, and had them gather. But instead what I do is I leave the cows here and I delete them when I'm ready to gather them, and then just turn the bills.
Yeah, wow, that's all the time saving, shaving the seconds, and it really adds up, especially in these really, really tight build orders where you want to be up at specific times. So I can see, this absolutely helps.
And you'll notice if you ever watch my villager movement, you'll notice I babysit a lot of things. Like when the bills popped out of here, 2 bills actually got jammed in here trying to get to the mine, so I changed my mind on what they were going to be doing. Then I switched them over to the yak just because of the pathing issues they were going to face trying to get to the mine.
Yeah.
It's these little things that it'll give you another 100 or 200 resources, and when you're like, if you look at my bank right now, 100 food or 200 food is a big difference, right?
And that represents aging up faster, as well as just having more resources as well for the military units that you'll train in the next stage. So all of these things happen. Wow, your buildings are very, very close together.
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out, because this was actually intentional because I knew ACERGAME was going to P-tard me, and also because at this point I could sense that I had a very brutally bad H1. Like, I knew how slow I was, and he ages up pre 7 minutes in the China mirror, and which is exactly.
Oh,
at this point, I was really panicked because I was like, well, I could get a batch of cab out before.
Not even halfway aged.
Yeah, and he didn't. So when I practiced this with Mito, we were building a house up here too. So I thought skirms were going to be in my base in about 10 seconds. I was like repositioning bills and stuff. Like I put 3 bills in the consulate because I didn't think I'd get it up. Like
yeah.
it was brutal.
Oh, he's going to be in there shooting the vills on that Wonder, and you're going to age up slow because of that. Like,
yeah, that's why I was racing to get this up. Like, I knew every second counted. So the other very, very small thing to point out, I have 1 vill on wood, and I kept my tower on gold because really, at this point, because I know he's going to be super aggressive, I only needed to have the extra 100 wood to build 1 additional house. Like, I knew that we were going to be losing units and all that other good stuff, so I wouldn't necessarily need wood trickle from the tower. So I was just kind of focused on, I need to have enough resources to start a cab batch or something when I get up, and that's about it. That's why these bills are pounding away. And you notice the reposition here, right? And then I actually have to garrison.
That's really well thought out. Like, I feel as if, especially me, I just continue sticking to my build order that I'd read or I'd practiced or whatever, and I wouldn't be quite as flexible as you. But you know exactly that you're anticipating so far ahead that you're like, oh, I don't need to build a house, I'm going to lose lots of units. So really basing the way you play on what you expect from the game, which is absolutely what I expect from a high-level player. But this...
Yeah, this is...
What a clown. Oh, Peter. It's like, do you think this is good, though? This just feels like he's trolling a bit.
I think it's incredibly good, actually, especially if you don't know it's coming, because, like, think about how these cost only 50 more export than 6 muskets. So how much damage has 6 muskets ever done in your and any time you've ever seen them in a China mirror? And I guarantee you they haven't killed a porcelain tower worth of value. So if he's able to get this, which he is, I also noticed my bank. I was so sad. Like, I should have sold. I didn't have a market, so I couldn't even fix it. But if I had a market, I would have sold 200 wood and bought the food I needed to call both sets of Minutemen, because Minutemen get a bonus versus these guys. But instead, I barely managed to squeak out my cab badge, and all of this because of how sloppy my age 1 was. I'm on berries back here. I'm not organized at all, and as a result, I mean, when you're in this position. I don't know. There's not really a way to come out ahead here. I've got no resources to use. He's got disciples, which are basically cav, running in on my skirms. And then I also have these P-tards, which I don't have enough DPS to kill. So I had to make a decision. And because I practiced so much, I decided to go for the P-tards, thinking, well, if I can kill a couple of those, I should be good. So I take one volley on him, right? Take a second volley. But the disciples are just kind of wrecking me here.
They are. They're like coyote runners, right? They don't have those. Actually, they are labeled as light infantry, which is the same as. They're effectively.
To me, they're
the porcelain tower.
Yeah, so he blows up my porcelain tower.
It's like 5 bills gone.
Yeah, exactly. At least 5 bills. I have no idea how this bill's even here, but somehow he is. And I'm just getting cleaned up here, right? I lose all my skirms. And my thoughts are at this point, I need to somehow stabilize from this, right? Like, my cav batch is about to come out, so I'm focused on getting that rallied into the fight right away. You notice my TC is on the Chengdao swordsman because I have cav coming, so I want to clean up the swords. He does a nice job of dropping off this one arc of Azir, and he really, in general, does a great job of saving these skirms considering he got caught a little bit.
Yeah, I like how you specifically target the Changdao because you know they're weak. They're very strong against the cavalry, getting them out. And
yeah, and this is just kind of sloppy on my part. Once again, a lot of this particular one is going to be me pointing out my own mistakes. Like this disciple being grouped in here is something that when I'm on point, you're never going to see that happen, right?
Yeah, he's slowing them down, right?
Yeah, I lost a meteor hammer for that. But at this point, I just got my 5 cav, and I'm just trying to get him in here because I know he's only got 3 swords. So once the whole entire point in China Mirrors for me is just to constantly be fighting. You almost constantly are fighting when you're at a shipment ahead. So I was a shipment ahead, tried to fight constantly, and then his 9 muskets hit the floor, and I try to get out again.
Yeah, there they are. You don't want to be fighting around with them. It looks like you're going to clean up these guys because they're going to snare you a little bit. You got a little bit of time, I suppose. But what interests me is that he did go for that porcelain tower. I believe you get those 5 petars. That is enough damage to kill a town center. And yeah, you managed to snipe down one. I feel like as if when you were sniping them, your units, as you mentioned, did get zerged down by the other units that were there because you weren't trading. You were trying to fight the petars, but you could have gone for the town center, right? You would have had no drop-off points for your shipments, and that would just end the game on the spot. I mean, with 4 petars, I think it'd be about 100 HP, and I'm fairly certain you could zerg that down.
Yeah, and I think I guess it's just a matter of safety, right? So if you think about
villages as well.
There's villages too, yeah, but it doesn't even matter if I would have a shipment point or not. I mean, being able to train villagers is key in a mirror matchup, I mean, more than anything. And if I guess one second, so if with this porcelain tower right here, he was able to just get his petards right in there. If he has to, it's just those, it's the extra couple of steps. If I had picked up 2 petards, all of a sudden he gets 0 value, right? So he just chose the clear free 5 bills. And I actually made a huge mistake by walking my skirms up towards the petards. That's what caused me to lose so many. But at this point, when you're in this position, I'm down 20 score, but that's partly because the wonder is valued at 800 resources, so 10 of that score isn't really gone. I'm down by about 10 score, and but it's still a big number. And my plan in general is to try to get back in the game by making some sort of play. I know that's not deep, but the deepness of it is the deepness of it comes with I can't play the safe control-y style that I usually am known for playing. I have to kind of get out on the map and make something happen. So he was going for this raid down here. I saw it coming, tried to stop it, and it's just really good play by him to keep making these pushes because it prevents me from going out on the map and making something happen. Right? He's kind of keeping me controlled by constantly applying pressure. I noticed that the cav didn't come back here, by the way. I would have seen them cross over, so I was kind of pushing up hoping to catch them, and I did actually end up catching them come through here. And these are these kind of plays where I'm just trying to shoot as many. Actually, really important to point out here as well. So these meteor hammers, I could have killed one, but rather than killing one, I'd rather keep them alive, but have a lot of them at low HP. There's 3 reasons why. One reason, it keeps his population high, so he has to build more houses. 2, it makes him overconfident in fights because he thinks he has more cav than he does. He doesn't realize, this is not really a meteor hammer anymore. And then 3, it prevents me from overkilling when I'm focusing them. Like, if I had shot this guy again, sure, he would have died, but I did 90% damage to a different meteor hammer, right? So if you add this all up, I effectively got 2 cav instead of just 1.
No overkill, making the use of everything. That's really interesting. Like, I'd never think to keep them alive for, the confidence reason. I feel like a strong player
would notice that they're low HP. But, you know, sometimes you don't. I feel like that would certainly hurt me. I would not get away with that. And also, yeah, the housing thing, that's very relevant, especially when if they're playing China, where houses cost 200 wood.
He's overpopped right now. I mean, it couldn't be more relevant right now, considering that he's overpopped. And
yeah,
a
that
lot
can
of
delay shipments, and it can delay batches of. Exactly. That's actually a really interesting point that I'd never have thought of.
Yeah, and the biggest reason is honestly the overkill reason. Then the second biggest one is the population space, and obviously the third one is the confidence. Because, you know, a good player, as you mentioned, should be able to feel the strength of his cav army. But really, just not overkilling in general gives you so much more value on those volleys that it's definitely worth it. And you can always pick them off later. Like when that fight starts, that meteor hammer is going to die real fast. You know, it's only got 47 HP. And so the next big play, this is what I would call the only like insightful play I made this entire game. I looked at my timing on my flying crow, knowing I aged up a little bit later than him, and knowing that he also went flying crow.
Oh no! I see where you're going with this.
Yeah, and I think Zuda mentioned this in the cast. Actually, he said if he knows that flying crow's popped out now and he's got a time, then this is a really brilliant play. And it turned out I actually was coming over here, and if I go to view log, I guess maybe not view log. Let's see. Let's show the rallies. You'll see I'm kind of rallied in this area looking for it. I pop it and then just run away.
That is great.
I was there specifically to kill that flying crow. I wasn't there trying to raid. If I wanted to raid, I wouldn't be going headlong through the middle of the map to a gold mine who can easily garrison it, right? If I wanted to raid, I'd be looking back here. You can see it's got dead animals, which I can see. I would be going there. You know, one great play followed by a great blunder. I come and pull my cav back in exactly the wrong angle. So a lot of times when players get like surprised like this, they overreact by pulling their army towards it, like just instinctively they just kind of move it towards it. So I should have known that his army was somewhere in the line between this point and all the way back here. And so, you know, I should have kind of ran around on the outer perimeter and just gone back to my base and taken the win. Instead, I came through, and you'll see from his point of view, this is like he's like, wow, I'm so happy that those cav are here right now. I'm gonna kill them.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I just get totally sandwiched. And this couldn't be a worse time for me to fight. I'll pause it again.
Is this you doing what he did and bringing his units in, and you're bringing your units in instinctively because you know, is this what this is? Like you're saying that you don't want to fight right now.
Yeah, I don't want to fight. So these 7 cav got a little bit caught, and I was trying to pull these guys over here just to kind of try to make an impact or catch some units coming out. I actually caught 10 skirms, and I was just on these skirms. But then, you know, these cav were getting kind of in trouble here. I thought maybe I can lose these cav, but win this exchange if he's not playing well. But really, I had 11 Chengda swordsmen on the way. I have 400 export for muskets, and I have a flying crow about to pop. So it's almost like I attacked at the worst possible time here. And I'll unpause it now, and you can see the impact of that, right? So he's got his muskets out. He has his 5 meteor hammer reinforcing right now. And yeah, I mean, just in general, a terrible time to fight. I'm trying to kite back. You know, I've got my explorers up here, and I'm trying to win through Disciple Factory because he doesn't have disciples, and I do. But I just am so outmatched in this fight. I can't even get a full batch of disciples out before I lose. You know, if I was able to get out some disciples in that fight, it might have gone a little bit better for me. But yeah, so at this point, I actually knew I'd lost at this point. Like at this point, I was just contemplating how to resign because, you know, my 11 swordsmen are back here, just kind of nothing's really in position anymore, and I'm just accepting the defeat.
Yeah. Do you think, how different do you think that would have been had you had everything in your base still? Ah, never mind.
No.
We know for a fact that when the game ends, it just sends you back to the main menu because for some reason, obviously, it's ESOC patch. It does that.
It's actually the observer maps that are doing it.
Oh,
it's
is
not
it?
the patch, yeah.
Okay. How different do you think that game could have been?
I think I could have won that game because I had popped his flying crow and I still had mine, so I could have used it to kind of sit on it and slowly push out. And I mean, there were more moments, right? I could have sent some cav to raid his hunt in the back. I was only down by 5 villagers, and with some of the control that you can pull off in these big fights, you can make up for a 5 villager deficit if you do it correctly.
Yeah.
But you know, overall, a lot of mistakes there, but also a couple of good moments. And I guess one thing to mention at the end of this is because we haven't done a loss yet. My mindset when I lose a game at the end, if it's a tournament game, is just to kind of say GG out and leave the game. A lot of people think that I'm, you know, angry, and that's kind of the Ryan joke.
As salt, and we call you briny, which is.
Well, you call me briny.
Salt water.
Thank you very much for giving me that wonderful nickname. I feel like I'm just like some crustacean attached to the bottom of like a wooden ship or something. But yeah, so I don't know. When I leave those games, I just want to be focused on the next game. I'm not even mad per se. I'm more just focused on the next game, and I actually get a lot of adrenaline and energy from playing. So I usually go into the next game playing better than the last. So mainly, I'm just trying to get out and get focused on the next game rather than kind of dwelling on the loss or getting too emotional. And it also, I don't really want to read any smack talk. I mean, there's a lot of guys who will just like drop this kind of passive aggressive-ish comment, even if you know what I mean. Like when they win the game, they'll have like, "Oh, you did a good job" or something like that. And I don't know, I just don't really want to read those comments. I want to stay in my own zone. So
It's like well met, basically.
yeah, well met.
Well met.
Exactly.
All right, so I think that one wraps this up. Some sound advice from H2O on tournament gameplay. If you ever find that you are in that position yourself, perhaps don't dwell on the games, don't get emotional about them, don't get bogged down, get into the next one and go in with a clean mindset. I enjoyed listening to that, even though this is the first loss that we have seen in this sort of mini-series. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Do leave a like if you enjoyed it. Do let me and H2O know what you think. Perhaps you'd like to see more of this kind of thing in the future. Aside from that, though, we'll see you on the next one.
Yes, thank you guys. See you later.